Now, this video is a bit of a hybrid. It's both part of the new health paradigm, which I've been explaining during the last few weeks. Unfortunately, only in German to date, so don't scratch your head, you haven't missed it. But it also belongs partially to the Messiah series, because of what we're going to do. But now it isn't Messiah 8b, it's Messiah 9. So 8b we'll have to do afterwards, but sometimes circumstances dictate changes. Now, all illnesses, all sickness, all problems actually are the result of a conflict. Now, let me try to explain this to you in very simple terms, if I may first. If you take the internal combustion engine, as it was a few years ago, modern ones are a little bit more complicated, but it has 4 cylinders, and each cylinder has a cable connected to the distributor cap. And they are in a particular sequence. Now, the firing sequence, for reasons best known to engineers, is not 1, 2, 3, 4, but maybe 1, 4, 3, 2, or whatever. The point is this: if you mix up the cables and don't connect them to the right spark plug, the engine won't turn and your car won't move, or maybe it'll move at about half power, because you've set up a conflict. You've 2 things trying to go in different directions at the same time. So one cylinder is trying to rotate the camshaft in that direction, but the other one's trying to rotate it in that direction. You get the picture, I hope. All sickness, all illness, all bodily problems and other problems are caused by a conflict which you have in some manner set up. Now, this is why there is no such thing as a general disease. So this is why an epidemic, and using the classification of what constitutes an epidemic, is when 4% of the people who come into contact with a particular so-called infectious disease actually get ill. That's an epidemic. No, the question is, why don't 96% get ill? And that's a question which medicine can't answer, because it's not looking at what's actually the problem. And the problem is the conflict that these 4%, or probably very, very much less, have set up for themselves. So, for example, there are lots of things to do with the intestines. Now, the intestines have evolved, if you like, or were created, depending on a point of view, or both, also possible, to work in a particular manner to digest and to dissolve particular substances as fuel for the human body. Now, if you give your body exactly that and nothing else, no problem, system works. But you start shoveling in pork chops and ice cream sundaes and whatnot, then you set up a conflict. And depends how much of a conflict you create will express itself in several different ways. Maybe with a little bit of diarrhea, which is just an intestinal detoxification, or maybe something much more uncomfortable. That's just one example, but there are lots and lots of examples. Whatever problem you look at, you're seeing, if you look through it, if you look through the symptoms to the cause, you're looking at a conflict. Now, the big conflict under which humanity is suffering at the moment is a conflict of belief. Now, one group is saying, believe this, you must believe this. If you don't believe this, we will punish you. And the other group is saying, no, don't believe them. Believe us. We will show you freedom and peace and everything beautiful. And the point is, you sit in the middle in this conflict and you don't know. Because in belief, you can't know. You see, a belief doesn't have to have anything at all to do with reality. Which means, if you guide your life from your head, you can never get out of that conflict. You can never get out of any conflict. Because here is the area of belief. It is not the area of knowing. So what this is about teaching you to open your heart eye. So not these three, or two as some would have it, but to look at the world through your heart. It's not as difficult as it might sound. It's just maybe you've not heard it before. But the point is this. Here, belief, you can't know which of the choices, believe this, believe that. You don't know which one is true, if either. But you can't do that with the heart. Because whatever the heart eye sees, that is real. That is that which actually is. And if you look at this world through your heart eye, you'll see, amongst other things, that there is no widespread disease. There is no widespread sickness. It's a complete nonsense. It just is not there. The problem is the belief. So what I'm now going to do, what follows this video, is a transmission which will help you open your heart eye so that you can see what the reality is. Now, we need to spread this as rapidly as possible. So I will also structure the transmission so that when you receive it, you can, if you will, give it through your hands to everywhere in your vicinity, in your house, in your street, in your town, wherever, to help other people open their heart eye and to see what reality and truth is. So in order to use this, you need to know exactly where your heart is. And the way you find it is you bend your left arm up from the elbow, not from the shoulder, but from the elbow, so that the fingers point towards the right shoulder at an angle of 45 degrees. And the root of the little finger lies directly on the breastbone. So, thumb is folded in, and there is your heart. Exactly the same size as your left hand. Now, the heart doesn't lie diagonally through your body in that direction, but also in that direction. This is why when you go to the doctor's and he gets his stethoscope out, he goes, So he can listen to all four chambers of the heart. And this is also the origin of the belief that the heart lies on the left. It's because the two ventricles, the two larger chambers, lie at the front of the body on the left, and the two small chambers lie at the back of the body on the right. But it's there. Not there. There. Okay. So that's our little job for today. And every day, the more you practice, the better you will get at this. So just do it and enjoy. It will bring you a lot of peace and many, many other nice things. Thank you. Namaste. So now we do the transmission.